Okay, what if I told you that one of the most common pieces of advice out there for a happy life is actually a trap? Today, we're not just going to talk about forgiveness. We're going to hack it. We're going to turn it from something that feels like weakness into your ultimate tool for self-liberation. Let's get right into it. So, at the heart of all this is a choice that we all face, right? On one side, you've got the allergic reaction. This is where you totally get why something happened, you understand it completely, but you hold on to that grudge like it's a winning lottery ticket. And on the other side, we have the vaccine, where understanding is just step one, and it leads directly to forgiveness and, more importantly, to your freedom. And this quote it absolutely nails it. Thinking you're wise because you understand why you are hurt, but you never let it go? That's not wisdom. That's just bitterness with a diploma. You've basically earned a PhD in your own misery, and you know what the tuition is? Your peace of mind. So let's actually give this enemy a name. We're calling it the diploma grudge. And trust me, it is one of the sneakiest, most convincing traps your own mind can set for you. See, a diploma grudge isn't your average run-of-the-mill resentment. Oh, no. This is a 5-star PhD level grudge. You've got the receipts, you have a detailed timeline, you could write a whole thesis on why you are completely justified in feeling this way. And that's why it's so dangerous. It feels smart, it feels right, but it's a trap. And this kind of grudge, it creates something we can call emotional debt. Think of it like an entry in your mental accounting books that you just refuse to clear. You keep it there thinking it gives you some kind of power or that you're upholding justice. But just like real debt, it's quietly collecting interest in the background, weighing you down more and more every single day. So what's the real price of this emotional debt? I mean, it's not just some number in your head. It's real. It's agitation. It's the incredibly high cost of rent you pay when you let someone live in your head completely for free. And here's some street smart wisdom from the clown father, to put it really plainly. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It's not about saying, what you did was okay. It's about you saying, I am kicking you out of my mind. It's an eviction notice, plain and simple. The only real question is, are you going to keep being a landlord to your own misery? And look, this isn't just a metaphor. Holding a grudge is a full-body workout that you really don't want. We are talking about a real biological toll on your body. Your blood pressure starts creeping up, you get a constant drip of stress hormones like cortisol poisoning your system, your nervous system gets stuck in fight or flight mode, and long-term, that leads to a weaker immune system, a higher risk of heart disease. You are literally paying for that grudge with your physical health. And beyond the physical stuff, just think about your mental energy, your cognitive bandwidth. Every single moment you spend replaying that old hurt, rehearsing that same argument in your head, that is a moment you can't use to build something new or solve a real problem today, or just be present and enjoy your life. Your grudge is like that one app on your phone that's always running in the background, just draining your battery for no reason. Now, psychologically, this whole thing often comes from a trauma pattern. Somewhere down the line, our brain learned that the only way to stay safe is to never, ever forget when we've been hurt. But the healthy alternative isn't about forgetting. It's about making a conscious choice. You acknowledge what happened, you accept that it's a part of your story, and then you consciously and deliberately release its weight. Which brings us, finally, to the antidote, the forgiveness vaccine. This is the moment where we stop being a victim of our past and start being the architect of our future. This is a deliberate act of self-care and total, absolute liberation. And hey, this isn't some new age idea we just came up with. This is timeless wisdom. The Stoics, they knew that holding on to anger meant you were just giving someone else the keys to your mind. Buddhists see forgiveness as the only way to break free from these negative karmic cycles. And Jungian psychology warns us that grudges literally starve your best self just to feed your darkest parts. The message across centuries is exactly the same. Let it go. Okay, so theory is great and all, but how do we actually do this? Let's get into the most practical part of our explainer, your liberation playbook. These are the real, actionable steps you can start taking, like right now. Here is a super simple but really powerful therapy tip. First, the act of writing that grudge down makes it real. It makes it tangible. You get it out of your head and onto the paper. Then, by safely burning it, you're creating this powerful, symbolic ritual of transformation. And as you let those ashes go, you are physically and mentally letting that burden go with them. All right, for your day-to-day mindset, here is the coach's playbook.
On the left, the do's are pretty simple. Understand, release, and focus on your own peace. And on the right, the don'ts are just as critical. Stop rehashing old fights. Stop using their mistake as a weapon in new arguments. And definitely stop secretly celebrating when they fail. That kind of negative energy only ever poisons you.
And look, to build this muscle, you gotta start small. So here's your daily practice. Every single day, just name one person, one situation, maybe even one tiny annoyance that you are consciously releasing. It doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing, just a quiet internal decision to let go. Over time, all these small acts of release are gonna build a huge muscle of peace.
And that brings us to the outcome. So what happens when you actually commit to this practice? What is the final law that governs this whole process?
What becomes possible is simply freedom. The past loses its grip on you. That cognitive bandwidth we were talking about earlier, it comes flooding back. Your mind is suddenly open and available for joy, for deeper connections with people who actually matter, and for all that creative energy you've been missing. You are no longer a prisoner of your own story. And this is the ultimate choice. It's stark, it's simple, and it is totally non-negotiable. There's no middle ground here where you get to hold on to the grudge without it costing you something. You either let it go or you let it own you. So I'll leave you with this final, challenging question to think about. And I want you to take a moment and be really honest with yourself. Who are you letting live rent-free in your head? And maybe more importantly, when is their lease up?